How's it going, guys? Welcome back my boys. I hope you guys are excited for this one because, boys, I've spent the past week on the PBE testing out everything. I've got everything summarized. I'm going to do it all in one take, so sorry, there's not going to be too much editing, but I will show you a few things on the screen as we go. I'll start with summaries, so if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and let's just get started because I'm going to cover top and jungle separately, but we'll start with top lane. So, if you play top Yorick, don't click off the video yet. I'll pretty much go over what I think you're to expect. If you're playing top Yorick, I think top Yorick is going to be in a decent spot. Levels 1 to 6, you should be much better. You should feel much more comfortable in top lane. For the runes, I'll put them on the screen right now for you, but essentially I want you to run Grasp. You can run Conqueror if you like Conqueror, but in reality, I think Grasp is just better, because if you're fighting in the lane, if you're trying to get CS, you still have that ability to now queue a champion. And that queue a champion matters so much more than you realize, because if you're stagnated, all you want to do is just get your ghouls, prepare your power level, because Yorick's on a power level, he's max strength at 4 ghouls, whereas most of the champions you verse in top lane can go from 0 to 100 like that straight away. Yorick's not the same. We need that ramp time to actually get our arsenal together. So being able to hit the champion with Q and then go back, hit the champion again, and then the third time you do it, you can then go Q, raise ghouls, chuck your E, and then just go all out onto that champion is so nice. And it's such a, it should make your laning feel significantly better. You should feel so much better playing top Yorick. And it's for that exact reason I'd suggest you run Grasp, because the Grasp proc on that champion every time you land your Q, just that extra little bit of damage, and it's a trading keystone, you're running a trading setup. So, in terms of items, I don't think anything has really changed. If you want to just run Bruiser Yorick all out, you can. Cleaver Show Generally Andrews will be absolutely fine top lane if you want to run that. Otherwise, I'd probably suggest you invest into something like Trinity Force. You're going to be playing very Yorick heavy in the coming patch. So, even items that are all Yorick heavy, like this, you can see this is Yorick heavy. Every single one of these gives a benefit to Yorick and a lesser benefit to ghouls. And that's the items you're probably going to want to pick up for this coming patch. Don't underestimate Blood Mail. Blood Mail, because of the amount of health you're getting in this kit at the moment, the more tank you are, the more tank the ghouls are. And because they don't die in one attack anymore, you can actually get it to the point where they die in 2 melee attacks or 4 ranged auto attacks, depending who you verse, of course. But it's extremely nice to stack health, and Bruiser is the only way you can stack health and get damage out at the same time. So I'll put a few sample builds on the screen for you, but I would probably suggest if you're going to play top Yorick, Trinity is a really nice item to invest into this patch. But it does have some flaws, because the Yorick nerfs did hit top, I think, personally, harder than jungle. The Yorick nerfs actually hit quite a lot after level 6. Now, before we get any further, I just wanted to have a quick little discussion around what Freak said, because Freak in his last video, and you're going to hear a lot of people say this, the rationale for having weaker ghouls later is because you have higher access to ghouls, right? Now, you're going to hear people tell you that. You can hear people say, oh, you have more ghouls, so your ghouls have to be weaker to compensate. It is a flat out lie. It is the niche, you need the most niche scenario to actually properly benefit from your Q leaving a grave on a champion hit to be a substantial damage increase. Like, it's almost never. I watched probably 10 games of Slog play top. I watched Shepherd play 10 games of top. I played my own about 15 to 20 games of Jungle Yorick. I can tell you, this Q does nothing after level 6. You won't even notice your Q change playing top Yorick post level 6. I promise you, the grave you leave, you need to actually go in the replay and watch it, because it never raises. Because the sad fact is, your Maiden is already giving you permanent access to ghouls. And that's the problem with this champion, is that these bug fixes, these changes are really, really nice. I'm not saying I don't like them at all. It's just a shame that they don't matter after you hit level 6. It literally is just such a shame. Like in this scenario, I have 2 ghouls, I have Maiden. This is one of those niche scenarios where you will benefit from this. So you auto E, go in, auto Q, the ghoul raises. Absolutely terrific. Absolutely terrific. But that's assuming you're an unprepared Yorick. And that's the problem. Because if you're a prepared Yorick, you've got 4 ghouls on the ground, you've got 4 graves on the floor that you've left previously from being in the lane. At some point, you get an engage off, and it's that engage exactly that determines how much damage output you have. So, like, you can see, for example, if I go to straight to level 16, my ult is now max rank, so it brings 4 ghouls. Now, if I go for the engage from a distance, I E, run in, auto Q. If you assume that the champion kills my ghoul, anyway, by the time I even get to the enemy champion to land my Q, my E has expired. And because my E has expired, that means that grave that I just left can't be raised this time. It has to be raised next time. And because it's kind of like an investment play. Now, the next time I fight, I can E, and now that grave's going to raise if I don't have 4 ghouls yet. But bear in mind, that means I have to stay nearby. If I leave, that grave goes, and then all of a sudden that change was absolutely for nothing because the grave despawns. So it's not, in a lot of scenarios, it's not actually a buff to you at the time. It's more of an investment play. It's even a fallback. You could even consider it a fallback. If something goes wrong, you got to back out, but then you get a chance to re-engage after, you've got that additional grave ready to go. The other time you'll notice it is if you're rotating. Let's say, for example, your jungle's doing scuttle. You've just put 4 ghouls top and you're rotating down, and there's an enemy champion. You can E, auto Q, you've got a grave, and you've got a fresh ghoul. Now, bear in mind, that's 1 ghoul. If this is 1 ghoul, if you were level 11, that's 1 ghoul that you're trading for your mid game being extremely weaker and your late game being extremely weaker. At the end of the day, it's pretty much the Q that's carrying this rework. Unfortunately, the Q bonus damage turns you a little bit more into a Nasus playstyle, where you're just doing really heavy damage Q bonks on people. Some people will like it, other people won't. I suspect majority of the Yorick player base likes the style of playing as a minion mancer, and majority of the changes they've done in this patch actually go the opposite direction. They're turning you more into a juggernaut frontliner, and I think it's a bit disconnected from what the player base actually wants. I ran a few polls on my channel, and it was like 85% of people want to play through ghouls, and it's a little sad that we're losing the ability to play through ghouls, because I can't even exaggerate how much damage you lose in the mid game, and we'll go over it. We might as well just go over it now. So you can see ghouls right now have a flat amount of attack speed at the start. So you can see their base 0.5 ratio, and then they get Yorick's attack speed scaling. Biggest benefit of this is it updates dynamically, and that basically means that if I buy an attack speed item, you can see it's 0.72. If I buy Trinity, it updates straight away to 0.87. So if you go back to base, if you buy a new item, the ghouls you have will benefit immediately from that. So that's a terrific, a really nice bug fix. It's completely different on live servers right now. Live servers, they don't get any updates. Unfortunately, you'll notice I'm a level 18 Yorick right now, and my ghoul only has 0.87 attack speed. I can tell you right now on the live servers, ghouls have 1.19, I believe it is, 1.19 or 1.94. So if you actually look into context of how much attack speed I need to get to match the live servers, you're looking at a lot. Hang on, we're almost there. Around about that. So you're looking at a bonus 134% attack speed to match it. I think the number break even was 110, but don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it was 110. So you need to get this much attack speed just to match the live servers ghouls, which is really, really frustrating. Because you just got to factor in the AD nerf as well. Like, if this is a full build Yorick, and I'm going to go for my normal items. So let's say I've just got, there's my 5 items. This ghoul already has about 40 AD less, probably a little bit more, about 50 AD less. But with this exact build, he's also got 0.2 attack speed less. So overall, he's just a lot weaker. Now, if you factor in his health as well, that's the next problem. Because unfortunately, Yorick's ghouls actually got hit triple times. They got hit in their attack damage, their attack speed, and also their max health. So in the most recent patch, ghouls had their max health reduced from 400 to 300. And I've actually got to re-summon my ult here because it doesn't update ghouls' health dynamically. You can see 565. Now, last patch, it would be 400. No, sorry. On the PBE, it would be 665. And on live servers, it's probably around about 700 to 800. No, probably more. Probably 1,000, actually. It's probably more than 1,000. You get a lot more health out of ghouls on the live servers. Now, to compensate that, yeah, ghouls take half damage from lane monsters and around about half from jungle monsters. But that doesn't exactly compensate it when ghouls are taking more damage overall because they're dealing less damage up front. So when my ghouls are taking 5, 6 attacks to kill something extra, that means they're taking minion aggro for that much extra time. So they're going to push naturally slower. That means Maiden Split is literally going to die off this change alone. Now, when I say it's going to die, I mean the ability to actually kill someone that comes to that lane is pretty much dead. I would not expect your ult to ever kill anybody ever again in the side lane. But you can still Maiden Split top just to bring someone to that top lane and then make a play somewhere else. That is still absolutely fine. Just keep in mind, ghouls' damage is just really, really slow, and their attack speed is really slow. On that note, though, we can bring up attack speed being slow and talk about Halo Blades, because Halo Blades is the keystone I'm probably going to definitely tell you to run on jungle Yorick. And even on you top Yorick mains, I think you should definitely consider Halo Blades, because Halo Blades has a very niche interaction with Yorick. And you can see, because ghouls scale off your attack speed at the time, you can see my ghouls right now have 0.72, but the second I attack, it goes all the way up to 1.4. That's double their attack speed, right? Now, the biggest reason I want to talk about Halo Blades is, notice their attack speed is 0.72. If I reset this game, and then I go all the way to level 6, and I summon my ult, 0.72, 0.59. From just level advantage alone, my ghouls went from 0.59 to 0.72. They got literally fuck all attack speed. But Halo Blade still gives max efficiency at the start of the game. So my ghoul, 0.59, I attack, 1.29. That's over double what it was. So Halo Blades actually has a really nice early advantage for you, because if you don't even have to go attack speed. In fact, I'd probably suggest you don't build attack speed. What I'd probably suggest you do is just go whatever you were gonna go. Just take Halo Blades, because you can pretty much go in for an engage at any time and your ghouls just pop off. Look at their attack speed. You can't see it because I was blocking it, but it is crazy how quick they attack. And remember, your Q resets the extends it by 1 attack. So you could auto, Q, auto, and you can see my ghouls are just going to town. They usually get between 2 and 3 extra attacks off. At early game, when your ghouls are the equal damage, equal strength as live servers, and you're just adding their attack speed up instead from 0.6 to 1.4? That's crazy. Your ghoul is going to be stronger on PBE and next patch than on live servers if you run Halo Blades. So I suspect Halo Blades will be S+ tier. I can't imagine running anything else. It is absolutely just disgustingly good on Yorick right now. Whether or not they fix it, I don't know. I don't think it should be fixed, because Yorick's ghouls are so freaking weak once it hits mid-game that we can use all the buffs that we can get in the early game. And I can't exaggerate it. Like, you have no idea. 40 less damage per ghoul, about 50 less damage on Maiden once the game starts actually transpiring and you start getting towards the mid to the end of the game. It's just bizarre. You're gonna ask yourself, where's my damage? And there's a lot of factors that come into that with jungle Yorick particularly, but I can actually showcase one really seriously important one, and that's with Scuttle. And Scuttle is a great way of demonstrating why attack speed is so important on Yorick. Because if your ghouls don't have attack speed, they can't get their attacks off. And if the target's moving, they still can't get their attack off, even worse. So this Scuttle, you're going to see, it's going to go its movement speed up to 255. So 161, it's going to go up to 255 in a second. Now, keep in mind, my ghouls have 410 movement speed. They're faster than the Scuttle, but they don't attack it. Look at its health. It's not going down, because the ghouls have a really big problem with their wind-up animation. If someone moves slightly further ahead than them, even if they're faster than that person, they still can't get their attacks off. Now, you got to contrast this completely with if you buy attack speed, because if you buy attack speed, it changes everything completely. So we'll just go and buy as many things, and you're going to notice the ghouls start getting that wind-up animation off faster. They start attacking more often. Even though they're still chasing a lot of the time, their wind-up animation is much faster, and they get their attacks off. Now, this is still a massive problem with ghouls. In fact, this needs to be bug fixed pretty urgently, because if my ghouls are going to do no damage, if this was a champion, imagine this was a champion running away. It's slower than Yorick's ghouls, and they still can't get their attacks off. And Maiden's the exact same. It's incredibly stupid. But in terms of builds, I'll probably put builds on the screen for top Yorick. I'd probably suggest you run the grass page or Halo Blades. If you're risky, run Halo Blades. I think you'll like it a bit better, personally. If you're playing jungle, though, now is where jungle is everything's different. Everything is completely different. Your Q change actually matters in the jungle. And it matters a lot, because your ability to jungle is pretty much dictated by this Q alone and how you use it. Now, the important thing to note about jungle Yorick now is 4 ghouls can no longer solo camps in the early game. So, if I throw 4 ghouls at the Gromp, it's not going to solo the Gromp. In fact, ghouls take so much damage from camps now that it's just, at all points of the game, you would pretty much want to send at least 5, which is not always possible, unfortunately. Because if you've got Maiden around you, you can't actually get more than 5 ghouls if you E something. Because Maiden will run there too, and Maiden has her own little check radius around her, and that prevents more ghouls from raising. But you'll see for this, for example, you can see this blue buff is here. We'll take the blue, and I'll just show you specifically how much damage your ghouls take, because it is absolutely mind-blowing. They're just incredibly squishy versus jungle monsters now. So you can see that one there is taken, what, it gets 4 hit by the Gromp, 4 attacks, kill it, and they do no damage to it. As you can see, look, I'm still around. I haven't attacked anything. Usually attacking something would have been the reason that they couldn't solo it. Look how much bloody damage they deal. It just does not die at all, anywhere near as quick as we need. So, completely unreliable. You would only want to do it with 5. Fortunately, with the new Q, it's not uncommon for you to get 8 ghouls on camps now. In fact, you're going to be pinging this passive throughout the entire game, because it now says how many are nearby and how many are global. You can literally get like 13 ghouls on the map. I think the most I got was 16. It's just crazy how many ghouls you can get on the map right now. And the new jungle clear, when I showcase the video, which will come soonish, is faster. So jungle Yorick is actually faster in its clear speed. I'm over the moon. So full clear from blue all the way to Gromp, all the way to Krugs, you will get here at 308. Around about 306 to 308. It's about 4 seconds faster than live. If you're doing the invade clear, so 1, 2, 3, 4, either red, they're blue, you can get here by 251. So that's 6 seconds faster. And you'll never believe it, but you can actually get here at the same speed as the live server pre-nerf without smiting once. You don't even need to smite to get here at 255. So there is a lot of versatility in the jungle Yorick clear. But that being said, if you're bad with your ghouls, if you're new to jungle Yorick and you don't know how to do the jungle clear, you're going to struggle. Because jungle Yorick's skill floor is actually somewhat higher now because of how much damage the ghouls take. I can't just throw 4 ghouls at this Gromp and run. I need to throw 6 or 5 and 6 at the Gromp and run. And knowing how to get the situations where I can get 6 ghouls on the Gromp, it's niche. You need to put effort into this champion to learn it. So it's not going to be just a casual pick it up and all of a sudden you're amazing at the champion. I think you actually have to put a little bit of effort into learning the jungle clears, learning how everything works, and just optimizing everything in general. When it comes to taking objectives, say for example the Dragon and the Baron, it is pretty much impossible to do on a regular basis with just ghouls. So you'll notice if I send ghouls onto the Dragon, they take a ridiculous amount of damage now. I mean, they just die in less than 2 seconds. It's just not possible, not feasible. On the plus side, if you Q the Dragon and then E, it raises a ghoul. So you can refresh your ghouls as you go, but early game, your Q and E cooldown aren't short enough for you to do it consistently to get more than 4 ghouls. Or more than 1, actually. Because the second you raise it, it's going to take aggro, and my E is not up ready to press my E again. So, as you can see, you can still solo it, but it's just extremely difficult to get off in the early game. Baron is a different story. Baron is just next level impossible. I don't expect anyone to be able to take this with ghouls. And in general, it is a nightmare because it one-shots your ghouls at pretty much all stages of the game. So, the best way I've found to take Baron is When your ghouls take melee autos or autos from objectives, epic monsters I should say, they take full damage, but they take reduced damage from AoE. So there's actually a really nice thing you can do here. And don't tell Riot this because I don't know if they're going to change it, but let's hope they don't. So if you stack health items like this, for example, what you can do is you can summon your ult or have your ghouls behind the Baron, because then they take the spread damage instead. Because remember, it's their auto attacks that make them deal full damage. But that AoE spread attack deals reduced damage. So look at how much damage that one's taking. And then look at the difference when that one there gets hit. You're probably better off putting Yorick at the back, because if you put Yorick at the back, you're more likely to have your Graves summon on this side of the Baron, so that you can see when it starts taking aggro, it takes a reduced damage. So there's some nice ways. Unfortunately, it's a bit riskier to go at the back, but it's just one of those things, it can't be helped. Taking Grubs is harder, taking Baron is harder. You can still solo Baron with 12 ghouls. It is incredibly difficult. I would never try it again in a game. It's just not worth it. Incredibly difficult. In terms of items though for jungle, I would probably suggest you look at the screen. There's going to be a bunch of items on there. But either way, I think Trinity is fine. I think a single lethality item into full build Bruiser is absolutely fine as well. So you could go something like Youmuu's if you want to go Youmuu's and then go full Bruiser. Absolutely fine. Remember, your early game is the same strength, if not stronger. So if you're going Halo Blades and you go first item Dirk, you're hitting like a truck. And your ghouls are hitting like a truck still as well. Black Cleaver first, though, is very nice, because Black Cleaver plus your E reduces something's armor by 51%. So it's very a nice combination. And it basically does sort of pseudo lethality anyway. So it's a nice little build, nice little item you can go. Like I said though, I suspect Tank Yorick will make a comeback. And by Tank Yorick, I mean pretty much Tank Yorick, these items here, because they make your ghouls have ridiculous amounts of health. And if you send that onto an AP mid or a support or an AD carry who's not able to clear them very easily, you'll be amazed how long it takes them to kill a ghoul that has 700 health. It is quite a lot. Unfortunately, this was a lot higher before, but if you can stack Heartsteel, it might be some nice little build you can do there in top lane. I don't know. See, give it a shot. I'm going to put a video with jungle clears coming out soonish. I need to re-record them because unfortunately I lost everything. But in terms of runes for jungle, run Halo Blades with Conqueror. One of those two is fine. I wouldn't go Phase Rush. I don't think Phase Rush has a place at the moment. There's just not enough damage in his kit mid-game to warrant it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else for me to cover at this stage. When the patch goes live, I will be making content of it straight away. I'm not going to probably do any videos of my current games because Swift Play is a shit show. And Yorick is directly nerfed in Swift Play anyway. We have 4 less armor and less AD per level, and our ghouls do reduce damage to towers. So there is no reason that you can compare Swift Play to the live server. The only thing you can get out of Swift Play is you can compare Yorick's damage versus someone else's damage of his same power level. So if you have 3 items and they have 3 items, you can see what the power level is like. And mid-game, you're going to struggle. Late game, you're going to struggle. But early game, it's going to be strong. You're going to be hitting like a truck. And I think net positive change, I think most players will like it. You're going to hear a lot of people complain about it. And you're going to have to adapt to not being as Minimancer-y because it's very more Juggernaut. You're going to chuck Yorick in the mix and just hope for the best. But I think you guys will like it overall. I foresee jungle changes coming because there's still a lot of bugs that can be fixed. And I think jungle Yorick will be in a pretty good spot. And I think top Yorick is going to be pretty okay as well. So I hope you guys like the changes. If you do, hit that like button. Let me know what you think. Tell me, are you excited for these changes? And I will catch you guys in the next video. See you all later.